Your tea, you wanna grab some lunch afterwards or what? Have you eaten? Because I'm not seeing you eat all day.
I had
Oh, you had food?
Yeah, I had like a mini breakfast.
I might just get some food when we get back to your yard.
I need to try some fried chicken though.
I made the best fried chicken and I'm not even being biased.
And you didn't bring it to the show, no?
I didn't know how long we... That's what I'm saying. I would have fried up some chicken.
Oh no.
You prefer
Next time.
And I would have bought hard dough bread.
I like all kind of chicken, as long as it's fried, jerked. Barbecue not too much because it's too
Man, have you been on this? Have you guys surpassed it?
Yeah, you know what? Come sit. Listen. Yeah, yes.
I don't do so far.
Oh, sorry. Are we?
I'm back with mine.
Yeah, it's fine. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna leave you, bro.
What is going on?
No, because
We're both called Pascal, you know. No, we are. We've both got the same thing.
I'm French, so I've got French humour.
And I'm half French.
Yeah, so that's why. So don't worry.
Because my analysis brain is just...
You saying about him, not me, innit?
Come on.
That's about him, not me, yeah?
Because when I was talking, I kept on leaning, and he was like, kept on doing that, but he was like, relax. Yeah, honestly, just joking. Cool. All right.
Good to go. Recording? We're recording, yeah. All good.
I am.
Oh, shit.
So, so, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Short Back and Sides, and I'm your presenter today, your host with the most, Millionaire Mike. Now, today's conversation is going to be slightly controversial, but we do not really wish to incite any controversy or declare any racial superiority or inferiority. What we want to do effectively is to engage discussion and to essentially have conversations that you have behind closed doors, but using the digital platform that is this podcast. Now, what we want to talk about today is two immigrant groups in the UK, particularly the people of African descent, whether being Afro-Caribbean, African, and people from Africa, basically.
It's a lot of Africa.
Fuck everybody else.
Africa and the diaspora, I think is probably the best way to actually term it. And Asians, primarily. And what I mean by Asians, those of the Asian subcontinent. So Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, Goa, Sri Lanka, and so forth.
Can we throw that caveat that some Asians are from Africa as well?
Some of them are, some white people are from Africa too. So, but what I mean by that is I don't really want to make it more about colour, more about continent.
Nah, the only reason I say that is because of the influx that came from Uganda and Kenya, who played the prominent role in this country.
Yeah, absolutely. We can talk about that. But do we... Okay, let me term this way, because I don't really, as I said, I don't want to incite any form of racial inferiority and superiority, but are Asians essentially considered the standard of elite immigration in the UK? And what I mean by that is, we've got Rishi Sunak, who's now the Prime Minister of this country, an unelected official by ad. However, he's still very much
unelected, yeah.
We've got Sadiq Khan, Mayor of London, and we also have, what's his brother in Scotland?
Khan Ali.
His last name is Mr. Khan. Not Amir Khan, but Mr. Khan. Okay, cool. And then there may be a few others as well, which I'm missing out on. I'm honest, I'm not really politically influenced in that way, but I'm aware of some of the key players, right? And by comparison, by contrast, you don't really see many of the mandem in these political arenas. Although we've got Ben Olafemi, you know, he's come out. I think he's the Secretary of Treasury. If I'm not mistaken.
Home Secretary, Chancellor. And look what happened to him.
No, but he didn't stick around. I'm talking about current guys. Yeah.
Man got
putting the gun in drugs, bro. Yeah.
Man just got chopped. It was your fault.
Before we engage in the discussion, I just want to make this lasting point. So, our Asians considered the elite immigrant standard in the UK by comparison to people of African descent and in African diaspora. So I'm going to go to Kilo.
I'm going to kick it off. So I went to see Richard Blackwood the other day because Richard Blackwood is doing a tour around the UK. Richard Blackwood's been doing comedy for like 30 years and he still got it. He was still funny. And
He trains at my gym, you know.
serious?
Yeah, up in Liverpool. Yeah.
Ah. So is that when he's still at Hollyoak working for Hollyoak?
Yeah.
So I saw Richard Blackwood in Slough, which is has a very big Asian population, a lot of Punjabi and a lot of Sikhs and the odd Pakistanis there. Yeah. And you know, obviously he read the crowd, and one of his jokes, and I wouldn't even say it was a joke, I think there was a lot of reality. He was like, we have to big up the Asians in the UK because everyone ripped them off or just thought whatever they were doing back in the day was stupidness and rubbish. And look who's laughing now. And then the way he intricately broke it down was, for example, and this is what I was alluding to. So when Idi Amin kicked out loads of Asians from Uganda, and they came here and they were all in one house and they had their families upon family. He was basically saying that anyone that was non-Asian was mimicking that or laughing at that. How can you have so many people in one yard? Yeah. Then he was saying, no, they were all driving Nissan Micros and that was the car for them. Then we all got into dentistry and we were all laughing at them. And then before you knew it, the Prime Minister of this country is an Asian man. So clearly the formula or the pattern that they were using to accumulate wealth, to accumulate influence, to get into big positions of power clearly works. So with that being said, I don't want to say they're the stand-up, but gotta give credit where credit is due because they were doing the things that we didn't want to do. Yeah.
I mean, as I said, I'm not trying to big up anyone above anyone because we all relatively equal to a large extent. Yeah. But we've never had a black prime minister.
Yeah, but
we now have a prime minister of Asian descent.
Yes.
So, and the premiership is a job that is coveted throughout the history of politics.
Yeah.
Right. You got people like George Galloway trying to become prime minister. You got people like, you've had lots and lots of individuals who sacrifice time and effort to become prime minister. Now, as I said earlier, he's unelected. However, he's held that position.
Yeah. Yes.
A much coveted position, which a black man in this country has not held just yet. And could we ever see a black prime minister? I'm not so sure.
I don't think so.
But given that he's at the very top, he's at the pinnacle of government, does that narrative essentially paint Asians as being much better at being, at managing affairs? And are they better immigrants than, say, African people are?
Can I jump in quickly?
Yeah, please do, Doc.
So I think, going back, a big thing that I look at when I try to analyze that situation is I think it's the perception of, what's the word I'm looking for? The perception of danger. Yeah. I think when we came across as immigrants, we are immediately perceived as dangerous. And therefore, I think a lot of things were placed into the institution to prevent our progression. And I think that's things from as good as like dividing and conquering us as a community, so we could never really bond as a community, and down to, institutionalized racism and blatant racism. I think we were just from the get-go perceived as a threat. Yeah. And I think, 100%. And I think the big key is I don't think Asians were perceived as a threat, and I think they managed to retain also community. Like exactly what he was explaining is key. So when you have a community, once that community is built, it's very hard to take down. So they could foster a community. They weren't perceived as a threat, and then by the time you blink, you're like, oh wow, we've got, which is a massive respect to them, an Asian prime minister, and look at the positions that they're coveting. And I think that's a key element. And going back to a podcast we did about the challenges basically that health inequalities in being black, we spoke about the fact that just the black experience means you have to push through so many extra barriers, and to get through all of them barriers and still come across clean, because those jobs you need to be like almost squeaky clean. Yes. Do you get what I mean? So to get through so much we have to get through and still be squeaky clean is virtually impossible.
But let me play devil's advocate here, right? And I'm completely aware of what you guys are saying, by the way. But for the sake of the conversation, I'm going to pretend to be a white man right here, right? So if I'm a white geezer and I see immigrants in my country, black or brown or whatever, I couldn't give two monkeys, literally, right? As far as I'm concerned, none of you should be here in the first place.
Yeah, I get that.
So
No, I don't get that, but yeah.
No.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a racist. No, listen, I'm a racist. As a racist, if I essentially have a racist persuasion, I don't want anyone of any color in my country, right? So how is it that despite my racial opinions on certain people, I'm now compelled to basically respect and adhere to the rules of a Indian descent prime minister?
Well, the first thing I would say is people that look like you who worked in certain into institutions invited us, and this, we were invited, you know.
Yeah.
This is something that you can't take for granted. We were invited. It's not like we just turned up. When this country was mashed down after the Second World War, who was coming to Jamaica and Barbados? You lot were coming, telling us to come work on the buses, work for London.
They went to Asia too.
Right, okay. Same with when Idi Amin kicked out all the Asians in Uganda. The UK said, come, we invite you to come over here and start your lives over here. So if you really did have a problem with us, you shouldn't have invited us to try and make your country better again. So with that being said, hear me out. So you've invited us now, and we've taken on the menial jobs that were given to us. We've then had to rub pennies to make pence, and therefore make foundations for us via our communities, via shops and different industries. Still had loads of barriers to entry, and we still push through. And then you still want to turn around and get mad at me because I've done what I've done with the limited resources and barriers, and now I'm in a position of power. You want to get vexed at me for doing that?
One second, Tim, I'm going to come to you. But where is it then? Everywhere I go, every train station I go in London Underground, all I see is darkies cleaning the platforms. But I don't see no Asians cleaning the platforms.
You do though.
You do.
Not in high levels.
Which
Depends where you are.
Depends
where you are.
The point I'm trying to make here, gentlemen, is that we see more Asian people, in positions of somewhat managerial positions and leadership positions, and I just want to see black people, or I don't see as many black people.
Okay, can I just...
Go for it.
Yeah, so my point is, I think with the Asian community, they have, as we said, a big sense of community. And so when they first came here, they kind of, as you said, all lived in one house, and they drove one Nissan Micra for about 10 of them, basically. So they saved their money. And so they weren't having to report to racist people like you. So
they built their own infrastructure. They went to their own shops, their own community.
Their own community, where I don't think necessarily the black people did that.
Oh, hold on a minute, though, mate. So I'm thinking on this road.
Oscar nominations coming in.
Talk about community and all, right? But where you get your hair cut from? Is it from Johnny or is it from Tyrone? Who cuts your hair? Is it a black man or is it a white guy?
Black guy called Trevor, actually.
So you talk about community, but you go to your own barbers. When you want some of that jerk chicken food you don't like to eat that smells up the office, don't you not go to a Caribbean restaurant for that food? So there is a community. There is a community.
Yes, there is a community, but it's not a community that is on the same level as what we see with Asian communities, i.e. they're in positions where they can bring through family or close associates or close friends. We don't have that.
We don't have that cohesion. We don't.
And then my point was they started that a lot earlier than us. They started building that community from the 70s.
As soon as they landed,
You've seen Only Fools and Horses, and they're making jokes about, I'll go to the pea shop. That's happening from the 70s. We never did that. We took the jobs that, Master offered us, basically. That Johnny offered us.
But according to ancient history, right, darkies have been in England since the Roman times.
Yes, we have.
So they're not exactly, they're not exactly a new phenomenon, are they? They've been here a very long time. So I'm still startled at the fact that, it's taken you lot so long to get your things going. Why can't you not sort your lives out, mate? Yeah?
Because...
Again, we didn't have much of a choice when we came here and we took these jobs. Look at all the jobs that we did, like we were nurses. If you look at even the mammy role, that is very historic. So we were not kind of trusted to be out there to build our own empires, but we were breastfeeding white children. We were, doing the buses, making sure people could get around. We were helping people back to health. But these were all jobs that we were given permission to do. There was never anything that was we were never given any space to create anything of our own, to stick together or to build. We came to help and support and build up the country.
Yeah.
Right. Go on.
It's a little challenge on that.
Go on.
Because my grandfather's from Mauritius, I said that.
Yeah.
So he was more so palmed off as Asian, really. And actually, the jobs that the people that he was around was mainly Asian people. He worked on the underground.
Yeah.
And he worked his way up. He became, this is after the Second World War. He was part of that, worked his way up to a manager and all that. One of the things I seen, because I grew up in North London, so it's mainly sort of black and white, not really many Asians. It wasn't until, I was going to say, it was only until I get to Northwest and I start seeing Asians and all that. And the one thing I noticed with that was that their parents, so there is the community bit,
Yeah.
correct, they go to shops and all that, but their parents were forcing them to go into education, to go in to do their degrees, to go in and take advantage of what is here on offer. So it's almost like that older generation of Asians took the hit.
Yeah.
So that then they were like, right, you kids, you go and make from it. And then the kids have gone and given it back.
Back. Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Whereas, go on.
Yeah, so for example, my mum was saying that a lot of, obviously, that generation would come in, do all the hard grafting kind of thing, and then pay for little Ritesh and stuff to go to private school and get the best education while they're working hours.
And this was the thing. So I was a well-known supermarket brand for a good 10 years. And there was Asian women on the checkouts, and all they did was work on the checkouts, but that was to fund their kids' education.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
Now, in that supermarket, well-known supermarket, I think of the 30 checkouts in a weekday, 25 of them would have been Asian.
Yeah.
No black.
Yeah,
No black men.
I think also as well with that as well, we growing up, we was always encouraged to do trade, get a trade was something that I heard in my grandma's house, my house, any of my family and relatives. We was always known as hands-on people.
Yeah.
And but even when we did get them hands-on jobs, there was whole heap of barriers of entry to that as well.
But this is
And
where,
housing as well.
Well, exactly.
but then
There's no,
this
I'm
is-
sorry, it's no blacks, no dogs, no Irish. There's no Asian in there.
I understand all that. I understand that.
Yeah.
But if we bring it back to what you're saying, the question about how have we got an Asian prime minister?
Yeah.
So getting a trade essentially was to have your own thing.
Yeah.
I get it. You could give back to the community, maybe you don't, but it's to build your own thing. Whereas the Asians,
I've done that.
they were doing that beforehand in a minute few. But if you look at it, most of the Asians I've seen are working for corporate businesses.
Yes.
They're not working for themselves.
I've got a lot that are just kind of employed and just build their own things up.
But they stick to their own community though, don't they?
Yeah.
They stick to their own community.
Their dads have obviously come in here, started the business up and passed it down.
And this is the thing, right? Because my grandmother, so she was from Mauritius as well, on my mum's side. Her career, she went into dressmaking, but she selected only to make wedding dresses for Mauritian women. That was it.
A niche.
That was her
niche.
That was her choice. But then you can't expand on that.
Yeah.
You just keep it to the same aunties the whole time.
But you say that, but if you go down to Ealing Road in Alperton, like Wembley Alperton, there's whole heap of tailors there, and that is their niche. They cater
Big
to
money.
women there. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. She decided to keep it that minute. The ones you're talking about, the door's open to anyone.
When you say open to anyone, like
Well, if they're in a shop, if they're on a high road or whatever,
yeah,
anyone can walk in.
yes, but they know there's gonna be a particular clientele that come. A man like me is only gonna go in there if one of my Asian brethren get married, and I'm saying, you know, boom, I need to pattern up with a proper outfit. I will go with him to.
No, but they you take like Wembley as an example.
Yeah.
I only know Wembley so well because of my wife used to take us there.
Yeah.
Asians just come from all over to go there, and it'd be the same for, I would imagine, in Acton. But it's an open door. My grandmother decided it would only be these select few people that I will trade with.
Interesting.
But what your grandmother did was different. It was more based on she was willing to trade on and cater for a particular nationality, which were people of Mauritius descent. But she still developed a business and she was still willing to basically provide a service. The main concern we've got here is the fact that the main concern. I'm going back to Black Mike, by the way. This is Black Mike. So the observation that we have, or not, or some of us have, is that they see a lot of, people that are able to make decisions, huge financial decisions, like people of Asian descent, for instance. We don't see many black men, for instance, in, owning businesses in multiple forms, in multiple locations, like a lot of our Asian counterparts are. So the question I'd like to ask the panel, effectively, is, as wherever we came from, whether it was the Caribbean, Africa, or whatever, should we have essentially perhaps considered adopting an Asian concept of success rather than a westernized concept to success?
I think so with that question, I think our generation, so from what I see from like my family, my sisters, like what the doc does, what you're doing with your children, what you're doing with your children, you're kind of being that graft, you're putting in that graft, so your kids, like a lot of people I know are sending their kids now to private schools, so they are copying that kind of the Asian blueprint. I think the black
I want to go back further. Like, would you basically share your home with your wife, your daughter's husband, and everything else, and have 6 of you in the house to ensure that you are essentially? No. Can I ask why?
Yeah, because if I'm honest, and what I'm going to say is quite controversial, but I say it respectfully, I think naturally a lot of black people are distrustful of one another.
Yeah.
Crabs in a bucket.
Yeah.
What, within your own household?
Yeah. How many times?
Within your own family sometimes, man.
Yeah. How many times?
Chain, bro.
Not even a chain, but I only know of black families telling their kids to give keep. When I hear Asian families doing that, they'll pool the money together.
Or you'll hear like white. I've had some people who've said, "Oh yeah, I used to pay, but what they did was they kept a fund for me. So when I went to uni, I was like, what? Mine just went to bills."
There's no fun.
Mike, the only kind of pooling that we ever did was with the partner when we had to deal with no dogs, no blacks, no dogs, no Irish, no dogs, and we used the partner to get our yards. A lot of times, partners have become non-existent. My mum still runs a partner. I only know a handful of people that still run it, but when they first came, everyone was doing partner because everybody wanted to get in.
So wasn't that a form of community then?
Yes, but that's what I'm saying. There was. I'm not disputing that there was community, but the community changed as the years and the decades progressed. And I'm not gonna say that it just changed because of racism. It changed within us as well. Our needs changed. Our wants changed. You know what I mean? We became more British as opposed to and therefore becoming more British, we came away from whether we were West Indian or we were African. We lost a bit of our identity to sort of assimilate, to try and get a better ride and a better transition into this country.
So the reason why you believe we're underperforming as a group is because of our urgent need to assimilate into a non-black British culture.
Part of it, yeah.
So what we're saying is that the Asians who are succeeding decided not to assimilate and to remain wholeheartedly Asian. And
I think. I think it comes down to the community. Their community was strong, and I don't think our community was as strong coming across. And then I also think, again, a big thing is the perceived danger. I think the Asians would be in an environment that I feel like, no disrespect, was a lot less hostile. But being black, without the community as strong and having to be in a hostile environment. And I think if I look back, all the narrative was quite capitalistic, quite individual. You go and do this, you go be a rapper, you go be individual. There was not much ever put into community, into how can we band together and make our experience together better?
So quick question, a couple of questions again to the panel. Your Black and Afro-Caribbean shop, hair product shop. What end? You grew up in East, right?
Yeah.
Who was running that?
Asians.
Your experience?
Asians.
Okay. So why could we not go to their ends and start putting up Caribbean restaurants and barbershops?
Do you know what was so funny is I thought it was just me, because when I used to go to the shops, I'd be like, I did genuinely say to myself when I was younger, how comes this is the case? Like,
wholesale though.
Yes. Yeah.
But not to begin with.
Yeah, but then that's what I'm saying, because they're probably spending lots and lots of money there. they got the way in, because I've heard many times of black shop owners going to certain cash and carries, can't get the entry and have to go through their Asian counterparts, and therefore still
To get the best rates.
I'm asking you, going back to the 1950s, 60s, back in the day, you could go to this place in Brixton and you can get your bulla bread and everything from yard or from a woman of Caribbean descent. She would prepare that. This is just foundational, because you built from that, right? What happened? Why did her son or the daughter did not want to build up from that? Because them man there start with a little cash and carry, a little place, a little garage even.
Do
And then
you know what I
suddenly-
think it is? Is I think that side is very unglamorous.
Yes.
And there's a lot of pressure, I think, in the black experience to be glamorous, to live that lifestyle. So, unfortunately, I think we were blindsided and thought, let's be glamorous. I need to have this and I need to have that and I need to spend all my resources on this, rather than thinking, actually, if we retain wealth and do the unglamorous stuff, we can lay foundations.
I think also as well, I think when our parents first come here, I think it was that difficult. As you said, no blacks, no dogs, no Irish, but that wasn't necessarily that for Indians. So all their resources were on surviving rather than kind of building, just kind of to get through to the next week, next month kind of thing, which is probably not the best vision to have. But obviously, when you've got loads of different other like side things happening, then that's going to be your priority, right?
I want to counter that, bro, because when I first came from France to the UK, there used to be this thing called pea bashing. Yeah. So they must have gone through some element of hardship themselves.
Yeah, of course they did.
So we can't say they didn't go to the extreme.
But do you know what I rate
when it's
them?
bad.
Because when their shops were getting pea bashed, they said, you know what? All right, I'm gonna make a next shop and a next shop,
Next shop,
and a next shop. And this is what I'm saying. They were prepared to do things we weren't.
We weren't to
They
do.
put in the graft.
Yeah.
I think both communities were oppressed.
Yeah.
Different ways. And I think
Yes.
when you talk about the Asian community, the black community, the whole fear piece there, the Asian community are seen as weak. We're seen as weak and vulnerable, etc. And I think they had a tough time in terms of people not taking them seriously and stuff. But I think the Asian community was more optimistic. I think that's the thing. So like when we talk about vision, I might get shot down here. But I think the Asian community will take. They will take. And they will do the things that, like you say, white people won't do, black people won't do, European people won't do. Like you think about the local corner shop. They was open, the little kids were serving you.
Yeah.
And stuff
It's
like
true,
that.
yeah.
It was ingrained into
Yeah.
It was ingrained. And even like the Chinese, they say the best Chinese food is the one where the kids doing the maths homework. But that's obviously a thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a thing. So they've institutionalized themselves to say, this is how you make money, this is what you do.
Yeah.
And then you must have heard Asian people say, I'll rest when I'm dead or whatever. It's a saying that they have. So they have a purpose.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, I don't know about you guys, maybe different, but my mom, who's the black one on my side, never really had a vision for me.
Same.
It was just go to college, see what happens. Yeah,
It was survive,
See what
yeah.
happens.
It was survive, yeah.
Whereas
Just
the Asian
see it.
community, they were like, you will
blueprinted.
become a doctor.
Yeah, it's
you will
blueprinted.
become a lawyer.
Well,
you will do this.
nowadays, like our generation is seeing the vision that are probably.
I'd like to interject because even though me and my mum had some issues back in the day, my mumsy always made sure that my education was the number one thing. Because as an African Ghanaian woman, she did not play with education.
Same here.
So a lot of my counterparts, my black counterparts of African descent, in great majority, a lot of them just went uni and decided to do a mad thing when it came to education. It was just my Yardie brethren. They weren't really as interested, and I could see, and it was their mothers
Good
that were
point.
really pushing.
Good point, and I agree with that.
Like, bro, don't listen to your mums. She don't know what she's talking about.
100,
Come
yeah.
to uni, bro. It's gonna save your life.
It's out of the way.
Well,
It's
we're
out of
both
the way.
black, so it doesn't really matter to me. But
That's the thing, because the Asian blueprint is similar. They don't like each other. They'll have their own wars internally, Indians, Pakistans, and all that. But the blueprint's the same.
Yeah.
But in Africa and Afro-Caribbean,
Yeah,
it's different.
Different. It's different.
I'd
100%.
agree with that. So I grew up in Kingsbury. Yeah, man, and Kingsbury was a very Asian-dominated community. I'm sure I was one of the first few black people to go in an Asian person's yard and be make that impression to say, you know what, these black people are not all dangerous and everything like that. Obviously, a man was on his P's and Q's, but to this day, I still hold Asian brethren close to my heart. And I think my mum drummed into me that, look, you're a black boy and you're already going to have certain difficulties, but just make sure you get the education. And I think one of the reasons why she pushed the education, because as you lot said, she saw the Asian blueprint growing up in Kingsbury. In my class, I was around a lot of Asian kids, so it was just like, all right, boom, if they're doing that, you need to be doing that. And I think because I was doing that, I think that's why I did get the invites to that part. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what's interesting, because I grew up like North London. I went to school in Tottenham, grew up in Muswell Hill. So the black community there, we didn't have any Asian community to look at or see any blueprint.
No.
It's interesting that you
Same
guys
thing.
from the northwest side
Had
have
that.
seen that. But that's where the dominant Asian communities
You know,
were.
it's quite funny because I feel we're quite fortunate in Northwest, because I look at other Asian parts of London, whether it be East London, not so much South, and not Southall, but they didn't have the integration that the two have with West.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? We're very, very fortunate, because even if you go somewhere like Luton, you don't see that kind of same integration. You can see the segregation or the disparity, but in Northwest, it's a whole different kettle of fish, and it's worked in our favour.
And the point I was going to make is, sorry, I didn't want to cut you off. The other thing is that when white people look at us, I get called Indian, Pakistani, black, Afro-Caribbean.
The whole
you name
spectrum.
it, I get everything. You guys, depending on what part of Afro-Caribbean or black or Africa they know, is what they'll label you as.
Brother, I've been called a bro.
And this is my point. And this is why I think it's important, because like the black community fighting within itself can't defend itself.
Can't exactly. Divide and conquer, the best
Whereas
with
the
the best.
Asian community, they'll fight each other and all that, but they'll put on a different front.
You can't break us.
We can't do that.
Yeah.
We've never had that. Never had that.
I think that's our biggest problem.
Yeah.
Twice has been our biggest problem.
And I think also, going back, I think that's been the thing. Whenever we had leaders who have threatened to unify, again, threat perception, they've been gone. They've been,
So, are we basically saying that we've made various attempts to unite each other or to better the experience of the black man altogether, irrespective of where they are or where they come from? But somewhat, because I'm not just looking at the UK, because Kilo, you lived in Belgium, and I lived in France. It's even worse back there. My goodness, like we're the bottom of the barrel.
Is it?
Oh my word! Oh, man.
Wow.
The black British experience is phenomenal in terms of blackness.
I don't like French, bro.
If you
No, seriously, wait.
besides coming from where you come from, being black British is probably best second.
Is it?
Yeah,
I'll tell you,
better than being black American.
I have a real example. So when I lived in Belgium, they didn't know what box to put me in, the sense of you're not African American and you're not a Francophone African. So because I was black, British, and of Jamaican heritage, they were like, yo, I don't know what to do with this one. And as you know, when you're black and British, we don't ramp.
Yeah. We speak straight out.
When I saw them blowing off some of my African colleagues, I'm not having it.
I said no.
What's going on here? Fucking hell.
No.
You're doing it diplomatically. Yeah.
And I could see them thinking like, who the hell does this uppity black guy think he is? But I did in business. And I think they respected me more for that. Because I remember one time one of my Congolese colleagues booked a room and she was scared to ask him to come out of the room. I was bouncing. I said, yo, my name, I've got the room, but the way man looked at me as if to say, who the hell is this?
This black guy telling me,
Yeah.
See, that is the thing. We can unite, but we unite in trauma.
Yeah.
So we have the bones to be able to do that. We have that runs through us, but we only come together when it's traumatic.
And that's what I was going to come to, because you raised it in one of the episodes, I think, Black to Work.
Yeah.
And we talked about if a black person was in a leadership role. So when you think about the country,
I was about to say
black
this.
people themselves don't gather around as a whole
bro.
community and support black people. Why would white people support us?
Yeah.
But the Asians, if they got an Asian person as a manager, they are leveling it, because they know what advantages to take.
I know, but don't you find when you've got a black manager certain times, they're a bit, they're just different, man.
Yeah, you're a
trying to
threat.
make an example of you.
Yeah, but it goes back.
But it's the two-way piece. It's two-way piece.
Yeah.
But the point I was going to make as well, because you made a valid point, as when you and he were talking, is the unity in trauma. It's like, and to me, I just remembered the Black Lives Matter movement.
Yeah, that's literally what flew into my head.
Stuff.
Yeah.
But I was like, I've never seen, except for maybe the Punjabi farming issue that was raised, to my attention from a friend of mine, how the Indian government are doing the Punjabi farmers really bad. Like, it's all
bad.
Monsanto, Bill Gates and all that. But that's the only time I saw them essentially demonstrate in Trafalgar Square. But I've never really seen Asian people en masse, demonstrate against their rights, their civil rights, effectively feeling oppressed or feeling marginalized by virtue of being Asians. I've not seen it in this country.
Yeah.
Maybe I wasn't around when it happened.
Yeah.
But I've seen
I can't
lots
recall
and lots of black demonstrations. Lots. When I used to go to South, I used to see there's always somebody pissed off about the black experience
Well,
and being
best
oppressed and stuff.
believe now that they've revealed the police officer's name for Christopher Cabba, you're gonna probably see some more of that. But that's another story for another episode.
Definitely another episode of that is.
Yeah.
But can somebody tell? Because you've been here longer than I have. I'm an immigrant. So, what's going on with? Have you ever witnessed any Asian demonstrations in your lifetime where there's
I
Asian oppression?
have.
Yeah, go on.
So I remember one Asian youth got killed in I think it was Kingston, and I remember like to this day like it's still like unsolved, but it was showing racial connotations, and I saw them come together, and I think when that happened, and then Stephen Lawrence happened, and then the brother in Thamesmead got killed. There was like a mixture of black and Asian trauma, which brought everyone sort of together. But I've seen it, but it's in pockets.
One of the things you see with Asians is more probably industrial. Industrial action.
On the trade union.
That's where they do it. They do it where they perceive they can make a difference.
Yeah.
Especially when you come outside of London, you go to like the northern parts, like northwest and stuff like that. Bradford, all them kind of places. They'll do the industrial stuff.
Yeah.
That's where they'll fight.
That's mess with infrastructure, and that gets shit solved.
Yeah, and that's for their own business benefit, trade and stuff. So it's different arguments.
So what you're saying is that they don't mind being called P word on the road as long as you don't mess with my dough. It's all good. Once you start making with my P, I'm gonna be
I
vexed.
think it's changed now.
That's changed. It's changed.
Yeah.
I think it's changed. I think before, we've got an aim, we've got goals, we've achieved them goals. So now we can not sort of kick back, but we're not gonna talk. We're not this timid bunch that you thought we was.
But hear this though, right? Don't you think then potentially those days of so-called Asian dominance are numbered? Because as more and more of them become British, listen to me. As more and more of them become British and become further removed from their culture, some of them probably can't speak their parents' or their ancestors' languages and just speaking pure English.
The community.
As this, do you think that that will essentially start to dwindle?
I think the culture piece that you talk about is evolving, because I can see that with my wife. She's Indian. She's from Mumbai, came over here. And I think, like, since me, now others of her cousins of that are, like, getting married outside of the Asian community. But the other thing I was going to say is that what the Asian community do is they evolve.
Yeah.
So they take a business. They might have been running a restaurant or whatever. They probably were the first to go online. They
see innovation.
They've got their cousins and everything doing the deliveries for them. And then the other thing is they see ideas. They see business ideas. Like, I know one man, I won't bait him out, but he opened up this one business. I can't say it 'cause it's bait if I say what it is. But like, he opened it up in the middle of COVID. And it was a service he provided at weddings originally. Then it caught on. He was like, "Oh, we can do this. We can do this. We can do this." Now he's bought a little unit smaller than this room. He holds all his products there. Sends one of his cousins to go deliver it and all that. He just pocket in the cash, bro. And they keep it in the family. Cash in hand. So they evolve. They look for new ways of making money. They're always thinking how we can do something.
But I also think, again, that ability to do that, for most people, when we look at averages, requires safe spaces. And I think, again, this is where we get double hit being black, because it's hard, it can be hard in your experience to find the safe space and mental space to say, first of all, I'm going to do a risky venture, and then on that risky venture, I'm going to put another one that might hit when you're getting...
But the other thing is, you were, I can't remember, Doc, what you exactly said. You guys were talking about, like, living in one house and, like, someone was still the chain. These guys don't have that fear. And that's why they're able to take the risk.
They're much more risk averse.
Because they're like, do you know what? Raj isn't going to rob me.
Exactly.
He's more likely to bring you a new idea or ask you to do something different.
And we pull together and get bigger.
So this is controversial.
Go for it.
Go for it.
Let's just.
Don't call me dog again. How do you mate?
This is controversial, but if you think there was a national poll
Yeah.
of which immigrant community to keep in this country, because the other thing I would like to essentially bring before you answer your questions, right, is the black contribution to the UK has been phenomenal.
100%.
When you look at the sports representation and the acting, the creative industry, but even some on intellectual endeavors which are probably downplayed and we just don't know about.
And the culture in general.
Yeah, there's a lot of flavour. There's a lot of
A
seasoning.
little seasoning we bring, 100%.
But what do you think? There was a national poll. We got to get rid of a group of immigrants, right? Who do we get rid of? The brownies or the darkies? Right?
Brother.
The blackies are gone, man.
Terry, I'll come to you. Terry,
Blackies are gone.
do you reckon?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I do. Again, it's a thing out of fear.
Okay.
That thing we're talking about in previous podcast thing, because you have a Hitesh and you've got a Tyrone walking behind you. Who's gonna jump? Who's gonna make you jump?
Okay.
One of them ones.
Okay.
The government done show us it would be. It is us. The
They showed,
Windrush
yeah.
scandal.
The Windrush, yeah.
is an example of that.
That's true.
That is your biggest example.
To be able to
today.
even, it blows my mind that does, to be able to
think
bring
that
that up
poor
and to do
people-
that, yeah.
yeah.
After everything they've contributed, just shows.
Yeah.
I guess I was thinking surface level in terms
No,
of
but it's true.
contribution,
It's a very
what
good
is
point.
seen, and
showed
what
us.
is, culture.
And I think it goes back to the socioeconomic contribution. Like they're not worth anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's
That's
my
true.
point. But anyway, sorry.
You know what? So, having done my UK tour, I would say that white people would, if you could completely move a race, that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they would get rid of the Asian community, and the reason I say that, I'll tell you why, because they could get back perceived their land. How many times have you heard, "Oh, these Asians are taking our corners," and this and this? You go around the country. It's very different when you come out of London.
Oh yeah.
You look-
We're in a
100%.
bubble.
And
here.
I'm telling
We're
you
in a
now,
bubble.
some of these remote locations I've been to, I've seen how they look at me when I'm
Yeah.
a bit lighter and
Yeah.
What do you mean?
yeah, no, that's what I mean. I genuinely think if you said to the white community as a whole, I'm not saying all white people are racist, but you come out of London, high percentage, if they could have the white power back, because the black community at the moment, I think we've said really for white dominance is not a massive threat. The Asian community is.
It is, yeah.
That's a very good
Yeah.
point. If you put it that way.
Yeah.
But again, swings and roundabouts for both.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. That's exactly what I was going to say. I was going to say the same thing. Because of the perceived and actual dominance, I think if it was given, and I agree with you, coming out of London is a whole new game.
And there is more of them out of London.
Yeah.
There is, but again, it goes back to like, you see loads of mixed race people and stuff like that with curly hair and shut up.
But Pascal, sorry.
No, Martina has an answer.
What did I say?
No. I want. If there was a poll.
Let me just finish that last point.
Yeah.
And so they probably think we're breeding up their white people. So that's a big point. So those people will be like, I'll get rid of them because I don't want
We're getting him killed
Millionaire
for
Mike's day, blah blah blah.
No, but it's true. It's true.
true.
How many
That's the point,
times
that's the point.
have you heard certain things of, my granddaughter's not is. Nah, he's not brown. He's not brown. Do you know what I mean? They're just trying to downplay what it is, what the true reality is.
But they would even say that about like a Polish.
Please get Martina's point.
Sorry, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I think they would say Asians to go just because of the contribution. I do believe that because in terms of what we contribute, even though economically that's not strong, but look at who we are as people and how so many people, I'm going to say it, want to be black. So many people want to be. So if we are not there and our influence is not there, like, will there really be any Britain? Well, London, I'm going to say to be safe, actually.
Here's the thing, yeah. One thing that I got to rate India, they've got good relations with the UK, especially when it comes to trade and commerce. So there's always deals to bring students over. You think them, man, they're going to mash up that cash like...
No, at all.
Like I say, in London, I think that they think that.
but
But you go around the UK, they're uneducated people.
Yeah,
Oh, well, we saw
the
that with
majority.
Brexit. We
yeah.
saw that with Brexit.
The majority.
We
That's
saw
why I
that
think
with
they would
Brexit.
literally be like, it's like, give us back our land. Literally.
Yeah.
Because you go down a high street, yeah? How many times you go down a high street? Who owns this road? It's an Asian person.
Brother, let me tell you something. There will be another Windrush scandal again in our lifetime, and I guarantee you, it won't be Asian people to be the
I don't know, because look even though we're not changing, look how much efforts like even media and things have done to try and make the black community more present. Like I've seen so many more black people on TV. I know it's a tick box exercise, but it's still obvious and it's still present. And you're not seeing a lot of not as many Asians. Like every time I see an advert now, there's a black person on there. That wasn't happening even up to 5 years ago. So if we're gone, if you're thinking about like even the polarization of black and white, we are needed more in terms of the visualization and the wanting, the identity of who we are, than not being disrespectful, than the Asians. We are.
The other thing is when you look at
black people, man.
Nah, I reckon,
10
like I
years ago,
said,
yes.
Yeah.
I reckon, but also if you think, I really perceive white people see the Asian community as weaker than the black community.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
But
saying.
they have more than the black
By
community.
week, how?
Physically, I think as
Maybe
a
less threatening.
group,
100%, that's the word, yeah.
That's threatening.
Yeah.
But I could flip that, and I could say to you that whites probably find Asian Muslims very.
Yeah.
I see that threat equal to a regular black.
If they can tell the
You
difference.
know what? I've just kind of changed my. If you're gonna put definitely yeah, Asian, definitely a white person, definitely.
thing is now in terms of the level of threat, yeah. In my opinion, in my ripe old age of 40 and a few more years, I honestly think that now the threatening black man appearance has now got a counterpart, which is the British Muslim.
Yeah.
And you know, and I'm telling you, like a British Pakistani brother and a black man next to each other are now seen as two of the biggest problems in this country.
But the mayor of London is.
But
Asian.
but did you not see the thing the guy from the Tory party talking about Islam
Yeah.
Education.
Let his mates in.
Yeah.
Different. Yeah, that's just.
No, but it goes back to what Mike is saying. There is a fear
Big
of
fear.
Muslims, of Islam in this country.
No, big time, big time.
So that's why, in terms of
No.
Them being removed.
I know what you
But
mean.
the thing is, the threat.
I tell you why. Because since you see this new celebrity Big Brother, who's the first person they try to kick out?
I haven't seen it.
ZZ.
Is ZZ, what's ZZ? Is he?
ZZ Mills is on Celebrity Big Brother.
Who is he? I should know him. She. Shame.
Oh,
No, you've seen her.
She does loads of videos.
Is she Muslim?
wait, I'm confused.
Oh, she's black. Okay. Oh, they.
Yeah,
But you know that. See, when I watch these programs, it's always the black people that I see are like canvas to get.
Exactly. Come like Love Island.
Yeah.
Get out.
Get out.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, literally, bro.
It's interesting. I just feel like I think over time, I generally do think over time we would not see as much as this campaign or this rhetoric of, you know, this difference between sort of Africans and Asians as being, you know, one being perceived better than the other, etc. Because if you look at the demographics as well, and Doc mentioned this in previous episodes of our podcast, we only account for 2% of the population. Asians account for 4% of the population. Look at the prison. If you even look at the prison population system, it's more Asians in prison than it is blacks.
You sure about that?
Bro,
There is.
dig out your phone right now. Have a look into it right now. Have a look into your phone right now. Have a look into your phone right now. Okay, let me do it.
But look at the other pockets like Birmingham. Like,
Oh
Yeah. This is what I'm saying. When you go out of London,
Yeah, true.
they've got
Here's the thing.
different when you go out of London. Honestly,
Yeah, it's true. Actually,
I think because of what I saw.
different counties of it, blood.
I think because I saw what happened with Windrush. I think because of what I saw during COVID, when they were saying we are the most likely to get it, and then it was we that was more likely to be denied access to work, to get certain things. There's always been an agenda behind us. So why are you gonna change hundreds of years of indoctrination for the next people?
Yeah.
No, man, it works.
Easy, yeah, we've done it, yeah.
Exactly.
we've done the hard work.
Exactly. And I think as well, we don't help ourselves because we have more of this alliance or allegiance to this country than where our parents come from. And
allegiance to postcodes even sometimes.
oh well, there you
That
go.
we don't even own.
Yeah, we don't. Oh, exactly.
But that's another.
Exactly.
It's a council house.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
But the irony is we don't care for council estate.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's
I
crazy.
got it wrong. So as of prison population by ethnic group as 31st of December 2022. But again, as well, numbers can be skewed. You know, if you did sociology at A levels, you know that you can't rely on everything. So you've got white 58,000, so they make 71%.
Yeah.
Black or black British 10,000, so 12% of population. Asians come a close third at 8%.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
Shout out mixed race, 4,000.
But here's the thing, Mike.
1,000, yeah.
And this is what I'm saying, like in terms of that prison statistic there, man. You're gonna see a shift with the prisons becoming more privatized in this country, and if you need prisons to be run, you need people in there.
But remember, that's like
Business.
2022, so we now 2024.
Nah,
so
man,
things.
I reckon it's gone up. I reckon it's gone up. I reckon it's gone up. Definitely gone up.
Hold on, let me check this because I'm sure I checked this.
And then
Okay, here we go. So what does it say here?
That's 2021 though, bro.
Yeah, but 2021, white was 81%,
Yeah,
black
yeah.
was 4%, Asian was 9%.
Shout out mixed race too.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
big
That's
shit.
like it's mental. So
Parole sign.
so I wasn't wrong. So that was 2021. So in 2021, more Asians did more crime. 2021.
We need to represent.
But the whites are still number one.
they took the territory.
But then again, it's their country.
Yeah.
Country, innit?
Cool, man. All right. But listen, this has been an interesting discussion. and I think we probably need to pick this up again. And maybe next time we need to bring some bona fide Asian people.
Yeah.
And see and
Get some real-
and get some real. What I would really want
Real
them
experience.
to even, if they can be honest and brave enough to say, well, you know, I'm not saying they think they're better than us, but by saying, look, we were pushed
Yeah.
to the point of being the best,
To reach excellence,
to be
yeah.
the best that we could be, if that makes sense, you know, because I've never felt inferior to anyone. But the point is, I also observe a lot of things, and I could see that certain communities are doing the best of this environment.
Yeah.
And I think we should all remember that, you know, slavery done, colonization done. They were colonized too. They were indentured slaves too in the Caribbean. If it's there, you know, that's why we have Trinidad and Tobago and other Caribbean countries with Asian people. But at the same time, we need to learn to deal with our trauma, and perhaps this is where our issue is. Our trauma is probably holding us back, and then once we get rid of that trauma, oh my God, it could be a problem for everybody. Because
I think we just get new trauma.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, listen, you know, we just got to praise God every day and see what happens. Of course. But on that note, closing statements. T.
So again, really good, interesting episode. Because this is very topical recently. I've heard loads of things about it, so we just thought we'd bring it to the table and just discuss it. But again, I think Asian really proud. Like, I've got loads of Asian mates I've grown up with. Do you know what? I don't hate on no one. I look at them and it's inspiring to see where they've come from and to see where they're going, kind of thing. As a black community, I see like my peers, like people like parents now, like the guys on the couch, and I can see that they've got that mentality where they're going to push their kids, and so their kids are going to be the next kind of Asians growing up. So they've got that push that not necessarily we had as much.
Yeah.
But I think times are changing, and so I think the next generation of kids are going to be up there.
Kilo.
Deep breath, boy.
I think we can still continue to learn a lot from Asian people in this country. I think we can learn from the other immigrant groups in here, because I think we as a black people, we are still lagging behind. We're still failing ourselves, and I think if we can get that shared best practice and learn from this, I think it would do us a lot of good. And that's not to downplay what we've achieved, because we've achieved a lot in our time in this country, regardless of all the fuckery that we've had to endure. But there's still a lot of work to be done, such as that unity, such as getting rid of that distrust of one another. But until we are spiritually connected, we ain't gonna get that. So if we can take them little small wins and we can get them small wins from our counterparts, then let's do that. But I think, you know, this Asian dominance in certain industries is only going to prevail, and I don't think Rishi will be the only Asian PM we see in this country. I feel we're going to see more prominent Asian politicians in certain roles, not just Prime Minister, but even in the House of the Lords or House of Commons as well going forward.
Pascal?
Well, we don't say first names. No government names. You took it a bit too far. Pleasure, P. So for me, I think from the black community, now obviously being mixed race, let's include all black people in the black community and iron out that bit first.
That's true. We didn't even talk about the infighting between the community itself.
Before we even think about considering what other territory or dominance we could take. I think the blueprint is there. It's not just the actual Indian Asian community. The Chinese community is the same as well. You know, they got their own thing going on.
And I would say even big up the Pakistani community.
Yeah,
as well, man.
Yeah.
Big things.
And I think what summarizes it for me, this whole thing, the recent MP thing about Sadiq Khan, where he says, you know, bringing his mates in, that tells you that they have made the right noise. They're not making noises about internal fighting within their community or anything like that. And they're genuinely considered a threat. For someone to say that means that they are concerned or they're worried or they're considering, you know, what the impact is. So if you want the blueprint's already there. Just sort out the internals first.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to co-sign off on that. You know, I have to agree with you, Terry, 100%. Like, I went to school with like a lot of Asian people, and it's been amazing to see their growth and the things that they did. And there's lots of things that I have to say, like my upbringing was a bit funky. I didn't get that pushing and all that stuff. And there's a lot of things I've only grown to then look back and say, wow, I used to kind of look down at that, but actually those were all the core skills that really should have been getting pushed. So maximum respect. And it's not a surprise, you know, that I've grown older and I can see that we have an Asian Prime Minister. I think I agree again with what you said. I think we need to come together better as a community. The question, how, is such a tough one, like, you know, but I think if we can, first of all, just figure out that we are black and come together, yeah, and then we can really push and work on things like infrastructure, you know, and things that help our community to grow. If one of us grows and all of us grows, then, you know, we're winning. And I think, again, I was just thinking about what you were saying about, you know, bringing mates in. I think, unfortunately, I feel like in the black community, it's too much of a crabs in the barrel perspective. Like, I would always like to think if I get somewhere, I can hand knowledge down and bring people up with me. But I think in the community as a whole, it's more like, no, I'm here now, so you should just stay where you are, like, you know. And yeah, and I think that's a shame. And I think if we can beat that, then we can come together better.
Yeah, again, just echoing everything that you've all said. Cohesion is the key. And internally, we need to heal. I've always said that we need to be more connected. We need to repair. So that's the only way we're going forward. There's no point working on the external or trying to dominate if internally we're broken and we're not together. So that's kind of where it is for me. And I just think it's little things as well within our community that need to be improved. Things like financial management. I don't know many of us black people growing up who learnt about how to invest money. Why were we not taught that?
We're not taught that in schools. There's a whole book of stuff that we just weren't taught.
Yeah.
Like essential life skills to really help.
That's what I'm saying, how to save, things like that. So I think there's things in the Asian community that we can definitely learn from and kind of coexist with. But I think internally as a community, we need to do better. Yeah, and I think obviously I'm very biased, but I know that one of the ways is the mental health. If the mindset is changing and we're starting to support that, then we can be unstoppable.
Cool. I mean, these were really interesting points from each and every one of you. Short back and sides, we'd like to big up all the Asian mandem from all the various parts of this beautiful country. And listen, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Put some comments on there, man, irrespective of what it is. We just want you guys to interact with us. And don't forget to follow us on all social platforms, Twitter, Spotify, Facebook, TikTok, email, even the whole thing. Oh, crap.
We're there. We do have email. We're there. WhatsApp.
Yeah, listen, we are available. But we want to thank you all, man. Keep tuning in. Keep tuning in. I don't know about that.
Pause.
Picture.
Listen. Scratch that.
All right. Take care, people.
Cheers.
Well done, guys. That was amazing.
Good day filming.
towards the end though, it does energy does go down.
Yeah,
It's like,
It's hard.